some friends from college. They've asked us over. Do you want to come?
I don't think so.
Oh, spoil sport.
Look, why don't you go over? I honestly don't feel up to it.
John? John, what's wrong?
Look, nothing's wrong, I promise. I've got behind with my work and I need to think about it, that's all.
Are you sure?
Positive. Look, why don't you go back to your friends and have a good time, eh? I'll give you a call in the morning.
Good evening, Mr. Brewster. Can we interest you in a hand?
No, thank you. I never gamble. And neither should you by the look of that lot.
Hello, Dr. Brewster again. You sure my husband's not at the clinic? He couldn't have come back? Forgotten something? No. No, it's just that he's not arrived yet. Thank you.
Mr. Matthew Brewster. He was found dead in his garage with the car engine running.
This could take us half the night. I've been on the go since 8 o'clock this morning.
So have I, Sergeant.
Yeah, but I haven't spent the last 2 weeks lying on a beach in Italy, have I?
I've spent my holiday engaged in cultural pursuits, Lewis, not lying on a beach.
So,
Seems peaceful enough to me.
That's how it was when we found him, Sarge.
there was nothing unusual caught your eye when you came in?
No, nothing at all.
Could you tell me what happened this evening?
Matthew was due home at about 8:40. That was his usual time.
Due home from where?
His clinic. My mother and father own a private clinic, Chief Inspector.
He usually left around 8 and was seldom late. When he wasn't home by 9, I began to worry. I had thought of calling the police, but I didn't want to make a fuss or appear foolish. I told myself he'd broken down somewhere. I looked out of the window several times, hoping to see Matthew get out of the car. The last time I looked, I saw John arrive, and we discovered what had happened.
What time was that?
Around 11, I think. When I arrived, I heard the engine running. Then I saw the fumes. I tried to open the garage door. When I did, I couldn't see anything. I tried to find the light switch, but I began to feel the effect of the fumes.
So that's everything completed here, right? Yes.
What about does it, sir? Thank you, Lewis. Something wrong? Probably not. Something that Dr. Brewster said. She said she looked from the house, hoping to see her husband get out of the car. But he'd get out of the car in the garage, wouldn't he? The doors open automatically on approach. You can't even see the garage from that room.
Just a slip of the tongue, sir.
Yes. You can clear it up in the morning. But why do it this way, Lewis? Drive home, I mean. They own a clinic. He was surrounded by any number of drugs or poisons he could have used.
I guess when you get to the point of killing yourself, you're not thinking too clearly, sir.
But you think it was suicide?
No reason to suspect anything else.
It was murder, Morse, certainly murder, although there was a pretty duff attempt to make it look like suicide.
Do you mind explaining, Doctor?
Well, it's all a matter of deduction, really. See here, look. These marks across the chest and around the wrist. He was tied into the seat. Now, if he was tied in, he was conscious and may have felt compelled to cry out. So, I have a look around the mouth. And what do I find? Traces of adhesive and minute injuries where the facial hair has been torn out. He was bound and gagged, Morse. He was murdered.
Time and cause of death?
Asphyxiation, 9:30 approx.
We know he left the clinic shortly after 8. Would you agree that there wasn't time enough to have him killed elsewhere?
Yes, I would.
The killer was taking quite a risk there, wasn't he? Staying in there until the job was done. Unless he came out and went back in again later. But then he'd have to get back in, close the garage doors behind him, make sure that Brewster was dead, take off the gag, untie the ropes, and then find his way back out at the doors again.
Brewster's son was driven out by the fumes.
I've already thought of that.
And what have you deduced?
Well, either you're looking for someone with an exceptional pair of lungs, a Japanese pearl diver, say, or your killer was a commoner garden Englishman, using breathing apparatus, perhaps.
Morning, Mark.
What is going on, Chief
Could we
Inspector?
talk inside, Dr. Brewster?
Tell us what's going on, please.
I'm sorry, you are?
Mark Felsham. I'm from the Radcliffe Infirmary. Claire is my patient.
It would be better if we talked inside, Mr. Felsham.
You've surely made a mistake, Chief Inspector. My husband's death must have been an accident.
I can assure you, Dr. Brewster, it wasn't an accident. Can you think of anyone who might want to harm your husband?
No, of course I can't. Who would want to harm Matthew? The idea's quite preposterous. Do sit down.
Someone did. I'd like you to think very carefully. Did your husband mention any recent conversation he might have had, any incident or event that he considered out of the ordinary?
No. Now, was that break-in that you mentioned, Claire? At the clinic?
When was that?
7, 8 months ago, I don't remember. There was nothing taken. The police thought it likely that the intruder was after drugs. We heard no more about it.
Dr. Brewster, last night you said you went to the window expecting to see your husband getting out of the car. How could you expect to see him if he was in the garage?
What? Oh. Sometimes he parked in the drive, Chief Inspector, especially if John was still out. Matthew, he very often left early for the clinic in the morning.
Inspector?
Of course. Claire, I want you to go upstairs and rest.
Excuse me.
Why is it, Chief Inspector, that doctors make such bad patients? If I had my way, I'd prefer her in hospital for a day or two, but she won't hear of it.
Is her condition so serious?
With proper medical care and attention, she has 3, maybe 4 years at best. And she could well do without this kind of trauma. And that damn clinic. It became an obsession with both of them.
Is the clinic in trouble?
On the contrary, it's thriving. But at the beginning, they invested everything they had. Borrowed heavily. But they made it work.
Where's Mother? Is she all right?
She's all right, John. She's upstairs. She's fine.
Will you excuse me?
We got something here. What's that?
More tape by the look of it.
When I asked him about last night, he told me he'd spent some time with a girlfriend, a Jane Foran, English student up at the university. Anyway, that was around about 7 o'clock. Afterwards, he says he went for a drive and then came home.
Well, that's 4 hours. What was he doing?
Thinking, he says. But he is doing a doctorate in philosophy. All the other things are diving equipment, sir. He doesn't use it. Doesn't know anyone who does.
We're about finished, sir. Pretty meagre findings, I'm afraid.
Where did this come from?
Down in the car inspection pit. We did find 2 rolls of tape in the toolkit, but neither of them comes from this. It's much broader.
All right, get it off to forensic, and thank you.
Right, sir.
I'll see you later, okay?
Chief Inspector Morse?
Yes. Miss Foley?
Yes. Shall we walk?
Yes, I'd like that.
I'm at a loss to know how I can help. I've never met John's father, or his mother for that matter.
How long have you been seeing John?
2 years.
And you've never met his family?
According to John, I'd simply be something else for his father to disapprove of. They didn't get on, I'm afraid. John had been expected to follow his father and mother into medicine. When he refused, his father turned against him.
Last night, how did John seem to you?
Ooh, down, I'd say.
Do you know why?
Well, he said he'd fallen behind with his work and wanted some time on his own. Your questions, Chief Inspector, I can't quite see their relevance.
Oh, they're just routine in cases of murder.
But when John phoned last night, he seemed to think it was an accident. Or suicide.
No. No, John's father was murdered.
Chief Inspector, what I said about John and his father, you mustn't infer...
As I said, my questions are purely routine.
You're on to a winner here, Sergeant. Do you want to have a look?
Just tell me what I see.
Hair. the tape that was brought in, and probably from the dead man's face, I'd say. I'm pretty confident that it was used as a gag.
That was a nice cup of tea. Not too sweet.
I've had a chance to think about all this, Mother. And I'm going to tell the police about Michael Steppings.
Steppings? Why? Tell them what?
That he made threats against Father in court.
But that was 2 years ago. Steppings was upset.
There were letters. They were sent to Father.
What letters?
Anonymous threats. Abuse. Father thought it best. You didn't know.
But Steppings, John. I mean, we'll be opening up that entire episode. Think what could come out of it.
I should have mentioned these sooner, I know, but with everything that's happened, I wasn't thinking, Chief Inspector.
Your mother didn't mention them either.
She didn't know about them. My father didn't want to distress her. As for himself, he didn't take them seriously.
Then why did he keep them?
He didn't. Well, not all of them. The first few he destroyed, but after that, I'm sure he was going to take them to the police.
But you didn't preserve the envelopes.
They were typed, posted from various places in London. Besides, we were pretty certain who was sending them, so... we thought they were from a man called Michael Steppings. You see, 4 years ago, his 15-year-old daughter came into the clinic for a minor operation, but something went wrong. She suffered profound brain damage. Steppings took my parents to court 2 years later, but needless to say, they were completely cleared. But Steppings couldn't accept the court's decision, so he made threats.
Who is this Michael Steppings?
He's a bookmaker.
The Michael Steppings?
Yes.
Started off with one betting shop down in London, so finished up with a regular empire.
He should be an easy man to find.
He lives in Oxfordshire. Whereabouts, I'm not exactly sure.
I'd like to talk about Michael Steppings.
You've spoken to him?
Not yet. My sergeant's trying to locate him. Can you tell me about his daughter?
Tell you what?
What happened to her?
She went into cardiac arrest. The court found the clinic blameless, Chief Inspector. I need hardly say it was a tragedy, but we were completely cleared.
Dr. Brewster, I am not questioning the court's judgment. Your son came forward with the name of a possible suspect. There are questions that have to be asked.
Yes, well... You think it might have been Steppings?
Do you?
Well, I wouldn't know, would I? He struck me as being a highly intelligent man. To threaten us in open court and then send anonymous letters, it seems a particularly reckless strategy for a killer to adopt.
You said threatened us, not just your husband?
Matthew was the surgeon, I was the anaesthetist, and there was a nurse, Wendy Hazlitt. As I recall, he threatened all three of us.
You're not sure?
You will appreciate, Chief Inspector, that trial was an experience I've tried very hard to forget. But why was it important who he threatened?
You were in the house alone. If he did kill your husband, then why not you? The nurse, is she still here?
No, she left soon after the trial 2 years ago. She's at Burnley Green Hospital now. We don't keep in touch.
Found him, sir. A bit more difficult than we thought, though.
A man with an empire, Lewis?
Yeah, well, turns out he sold his business, sir. Living the life of a recluse.